let's begin with our educational sector. West African Examination Council, as well as the National Examination Council, WAEC and NECO, WASSCE and NECO, have both condemned the recent submission of the Minister for Education, Maman Tayo, who on Sunday on a sister station reiterated the federal government's commitment to the stand that anyone below the age of 18 will not be allowed to take those examinations, as well as JAMB exam going into the tertiary institutions in the country. So those who are 16 years, 17 years have by age been disqualified from taking these exams and gaining admission into our tertiary institutions. This was said sometime in July, but he reiterated the stand on Sunday, and this has generated this reaction that we are getting from some stakeholders, talking about the councils responsible for those final examinations in the secondary school, preparing you into the tertiary institutions. For him, he said there's been a waiver, however, for those who have registered for JAMB, or those who have sat for JAMB, or those who will sit for JAMB this year, who are below 18, they will have the waiver. But from next year's JAMB, if you are not 17 and a half, don't near the JAMB JAMB offices for registration.
Well, first of all, I would like to call on my colleagues that are into investigative reporting to please try to find out what age Tahir Mama himself was when he entered university. That's one. Then let them try also find out where his children are and what ages they are. Because you see, we are in a country where somebody is eating pounded yam with egusi soup and bitter leaf, with fish and bokoto. Then you now come to him that you are hungry. Then that person now says, manage. Manage what? Manage that you are not managing. Let's be, we have to be realistic. How many? One of the common characteristics of the Nigerian elite class, and it is members of the elite class that become ministers, senators, and representatives and governors, is that typically you have a child doing common entrance at 9, finishing, or rather sitting for senior secondary certificate examination, whether of NECO or WAEC, at 15, some even at 14. In the past, different Nigerian universities had admission ages fixed internally by themselves. The only university which in the past did not have an age, most of them it was 16, that did not have an age limit was the Obafemi Awolowo University.
Is this 16 or 18?
In the past, it used to be 16, most universities. The time when JAMB used to have booklets. Most universities will tell you the minimum age they will take. The only one that didn't have age limit was Obafemi Awolowo University, University of Ife as it used to be. So, and I think the educational authorities of that time felt it was okay. And someone like me, I align with that thinking. You see, there are child prodigies Let's not forget that the federal government created a federal government academy for talented children in Suleja.
No, before you come there, let's get that sequence. Before now,
yes,
you said it used to be 16.
Yes.
So at what point?
And it was fixed by individual universities.
So at what point did it become 18? Because the minister is saying this is not new. It is not novel. It's been there that 18 is the age.
You see, apart from, say, matters of GDP and currency exchange, Nigerian decision makers at state level, at federal level, tend to be economical with figures. He's a lawyer. Did he say it is a law? Has it ever been a law? That's the minister. Yes, some universities had the age of 18, but some had 16. If anybody, that time that I did JAMB twice, 1982, 1985, there used to be age in the brochure. That brochure, that is only Ife that had no age limit. And the minister would have done well to inform Nigerians that it has been the law, or it has been the regulation, or it has been the standard, or it has been the ordinance or statute or whatever since so time. It would have been good if the minister had said that, but he did not say that. You know, what he simply said that it is not new. So if it is not new, that mean, are they saying that universities have forgotten their duties or their regulations or their standards over the years, and they are now back to remind university of their standards? This is a man who has been a university teacher for practically the whole of his adult life, until he became the principal of the well, I think they call it Director General of the Nigerian Law School. First, he was a director of the Kano campus, I think. Then later on became the Director General. I mean, he was still in the practice of academia and law when he has become the minister. So that is the way I see it. First, to me, it is a double standard, and it is a means of dragging the country backwards. Like I said, this same federal government at a point in time acknowledged that there are gifted children. Children that will solve logarithms and simultaneous linear equations at the age of 10, 11. Children that will derive the almighty formula at the age of 10. We have them. They were called the talented children, the gifted. In fact, the Federal Minister of Education had a whole program in the minister's office.
Yes. He said, even if you look at logic, if you look at the calculation, aside from the fact that, according to him, is there, and that's the normal practice, they are not bringing out something new. He said, you are expected to be in primary one at the age of 6. If you're in primary one at the age of 6, you spend 6 years.
12.
That's 12.
Another 6 years.
You enter secondary school, another 6 years.
That's 18.
That's 18. So you are ready for the university.
You see, when
before the 6-year thing, well, I'm not sure you, well, maybe you, but not me, those who fell into the category of you got to do this before you can go to school.
Jide, be careful. Stop looking for my trouble. Stop looking for my trouble.
How did you fall in that category?
So me, I fall in that category.
I'm only asking if...
But take your time. You see, however we want to look at it, to every rule there are exceptions. And exceptions are not necessarily bad things. We are in this studio now based on a lot of, this studio is being managed on principles of electronics. Some of the most outstanding electronic engineers make their discoveries before the age of 30. Albert Einstein, the man who discovered radioactivity, that made X-rays possible, that made CT scans possible. Because if there was no radioactivity and nuclear power was not discovered, to have X-rays as we have them today would not have been possible. To have CT scans as we have them today would not have been possible. Satellite technology these things were not developed by Methuselahs. They were developed by young men and women who came before their time and set the pace for the rest of us to follow.
So there could be brain drain. Because if someone finished secondary school at 16 and ready for the university academically,
yes,
sound enough.
Exactly.
But now he's got to wait until 18. Well, maybe just a few days. The minister said certificates from neighboring countries, Benin Republic, and
they listed a number of institutions that will not be
tenable again.
Nigeria.
Or would have said, okay, maybe this lad, this young one,
the fact is that
from Nigeria to
the fact is that countries. Not all of them are not tenable. They only provided the list of those that are not tenable. So that means that anybody who can afford foreign education and has a child that is underage and you can afford it, you go to the one that is accredited. And you see, soon it had started happening that, let's not forget that at a point in time, there was this Professor Jelili, somebody who was the VC of UNILAG, a very aggressive educational entrepreneur. That's what I would call him, aggressive and innovative. He actually opened a study center for the University of Lagos in South Korea. And the university was making tons of money. Then there was a realignment in the conditions for having external study centers. Now, for instance, I know at least one study center had to close down in Ilorin here of one university, because the logic was that study center should be within the geographical ambit of that particular university. But what you've said is exactly what is going to happen. Just like we are losing qualified doctors and nurses to those that are willing to pay them what they think is a good enough wage, the same thing is going to happen in the field of education.
So, some are of the opinion that if we want to actually implement this, we shouldn't allow the bottleneck we want to create now to be after secondary school. We can go back as far as the primary school, the entry age, and try to correct it from there. At GS1, try to correct it at that level.
Jide, what are they correcting? We are talking of a country with more than 15 million out of school children. As far as I'm concerned,
and this is likely going to populate that figure at the end of the day.
Of course, because you see, instead of us to find means of advancing our children along the educational stagecoach, we are trying to put bottlenecks in their way. This is one of the things that at this material time, I think the federal government is not thinking hard enough. Just like they are not thinking hard enough with palliatives rather than business. Dashing us rice rather than creating cooperative chain shops to sell this rice to us at a cheaper rate. Rather, they are dashing us, beggarizing us, pauperizing us. So the same thing is happening, in my opinion, in the area of education. We should not create bottlenecks for our children in the course of education. Today, we are in an era of growing aspirations. And if you look at the hierarchy of human needs, we have gotten to the level in which people want to actualize themselves through their children. In my dream, one of my children is a civil engineer, another one an electrical engineer, another one an architect, another one a laboratory biologist that is going to create a magic wonder to eliminate mosquitoes in our neighborhood. An insecticide that will kill only mosquitoes and not harm human beings. That is my own aspiration for myself. So, and we're in an era in which people a child of primary 5, a child of 5 is already in primary school in today's world. And they are doing well. So let government not be putting drawbacks like I said, in the educational stagecoach of our children.
Some would say you need a matured mind to be in the university.
While that may be so, the fact remains that on the average, I do not have figures. I hope you have fact checkers around there. But when you look at a matriculating class in a university, out of 100,
only a few of them.
I don't think you can get more than 10 that are below 18. So it's as if to say they didn't see face, they are now looking for where there is no face. They live leprosy and they are now fighting ringworm. Ringworm that if you put bathing stone on it and scrub it very well, it will go away. It will, once it draw blood over the whole surface, put iodine, it will dry and that's the end of it. But leprosy, which is a strong viral infection that can destroy the body, degenerate the body, we are living it. I believe what the minister should be looking at now is one, how do you solve the ASU problem? Since 2009,